Oh, hey, hello everybody. This is Secondhand Dan coming to you from some hole in the wall place in Homosassa, Florida. This is actually part two. If you haven't partaken of part one, go check it out and then come back to this one. Anyway, I'm trying to replace the rotten wood and install a door. Here's the door that came out of there. One side was completely flopping loose, no longer anchored to the wall, and even if it was, the hinges on this thing are shot, so the door, it takes special finesse to close it. You almost have to like lift it up and kick the bottom with your toes, and I think it's cracked inside internally. There's a break in there, so it's kind of like a giant wet noodle. So what I have here is a replacement. You know, it's not leaps and bounds a better door, but generally it's a better door. So it doesn't have a threshold plate like the other one did, but I can just put a door sweep on it or add a small threshold. So we're going to try and get this door roughed in place today. I was measuring the height. I think it's like 35 3/8. That's exactly, I think, where that header is right now. So I will be responsible for putting some joists, or not, joists, studs. They're like 6 2x6s to run up and down each side, and then I'll cover it with the particle board, and then the door should fit in place with screws. It's held on with multiple screws. The one thing I got to watch for, and I don't like, is the weather report. Depends on which way you look. Over there, it's pretty nice. Over there, not so nice. Over here, it looks nice. So I'm going to try and get a couple more major hurdles done with this one. I think the big thing now would be, like I say, to get the two studs in the wall. That's the big thing here. Let's go get them. They're actually over. They were in the rain yesterday. Yesterday it rained pretty good all day. So I finally said, why are they laying in the rain? You know, the rain definitely wouldn't have seriously hurt them, but I wanted them to dry even before they got rained on. So I chucked them underneath the home here. The reason it's open here is because I was doing some plumbing when I did a kitchen sink cabinet install. So I do have a video about that one if you're interested. So hang on, I got to put the phone in another place while I reach in and grab those. Past couple of weeks, you know, we're almost like in a drought situation here, but I still have like a mildew smell. And I've noticed it here and there. I'm thinking it's the mulch. Do you guys think I might be right about that? That mulch has been down there for a complete year. So does mulch tend to get mildewy and stinky? I have seen a couple spots where I thought I saw some white mold on it. So let me know what your experience has been with using mulch long term. I pulled these out. I got to carry one at a time. I went ahead and put that one up on the saw station, because you know it's definitely going to need cut to length. See, my insulation is still dripping a little bit. As much as I tried to thwart the rain by blocking it with that board, can only do but so much. At least it was like 8-hour steady heavy drizzle. So you see I got a little bit of ugliness going on up on top. I don't think I'll be doing much with that. Maybe just cross my, I don't like to say cross my fingers. I say, good Lord, please watch over it for me. So let me go get the other 2x6. There's going to be one for the left, one for the right. There's the old one. What I'm going to have to do is, you can see where I cut it off. So if it has to go right back in that same spot, I'm going to have to, what they call, I guess, scab, put a piece of 2x6 on the back side to lock it in, and then maybe run a few toenailers. Same over here. I should get my tape measure up there real quick and find out what that dimension is. I think I'm working with 34 and 3/8 is, I can't be any wider. Well, I can be a little wider, but I can't be any smaller than that because I don't want to get stuck trying to get the door into that hole. I know that's definitely maybe 34 and a quarter, or yeah, it's just barely under that, but all right. I got the treated wood. Figure that way it's in a moisture prone area. Maybe it'll give it a little more longevity. So let's jump up there and measure that that header. Put this one in waiting. I mean, as far as whether it's going to rain or not, it feels pretty comfortable right now. So I can't argue that point. I'm just glad it's not, 85 and humid and sun beating on me. Tape measure. See, I piled up all my tools here. The tape measure went to where? I had to move all the tools. I need to put some of them away. All these pliers and screwdrivers. Just so I don't get caught with too many tools out here in the rain. I don't know why I've got these extra large drill bits. I thought I was going to need them to countersink a hole. Didn't need them. Cut off wheel. I don't think I need that out here anymore. One of my first videos down here was about my workshop. I said, is it a shed shop or is it a shop shed? There's a video on that, and I was pleased. I think I got like 700 some views on it. This building was not here when I moved in. We had it brought in. I bought it off of somebody who was, I think he was on too many drugs, but he said he was going to be a motivational speaker and he needed money. So I think it's about 50% of what a full retail would have been. Plus, I think it was like $400 to have it brought over. I got the paperwork. He showed me what he originally paid. So he had the receipt. I took pictures of all that stuff. So my first concern was, I hope I'm not buying a shed that somebody's got out for rent. But no, he had the receipt that said it was paid for. So. Well, it is February, I think, 26th. My birthday's coming up on Monday. Today is Saturday. Here's my scrap pile. This is, when I go to the auction, where I work, I'll take this metal stuff. They've got a scrap pile with metal. I'll throw that onto their pile. But over here is my aluminum. So that's for me. I'll be cashing that in when the time comes. I don't worry about trying to cash in steel. Now you got to do something to clean up the clutter. So at least get rid of the one steel pile. Even if I was going today, I mean, there's what, $2 worth of steel there. Okay, we was looking for the tape measure. That's what got me motivated to put a couple tools away. Let's go look down here at the saw station. I don't see it there. Come on, guys, where'd I put it? Well, you probably have to watch the first video to find out where I put it. Found it on top of the dryer here. DOC means, the vinyl skirting's blowing away. I found I can buy the vinyl skirting, and I need to buy some pieces. I paid somebody to weed whack around here once, and he blasted holes all through the skirting. Like 75% of the skirting he hit with the weed whacker. You'd think you would stop after the first few feet and say, oops, I'm putting holes in it. What am I doing? No, he just proceeded to put holes all through it. Like there's some, you know, that's what you get when you hire somebody that does drugs, but I didn't believe he did drugs at first. Still getting that mildew smell off and on. All right, well, we got the tape measure. Let me measure. We was going to measure the height here. Height and width. Well, this is the original width between to me it looks like it says exactly 32. And I don't like that number. Let's see. My door over here, measuring across the top on the flange. Yeah, okay, it's 31 3/4. So there is not a lot of room for error. So 31 3/4. I'm going to have to put a scab on the back side of this and drop my joist. I keep calling them joist. Studs. All right. So our height will be 76. You know, you'd rather cut something a scotch too long than a little bit too short. Because I can always take a saw blade off. I can't add another saw blade's worth of wood back on. I gotta pick up these screws that I knocked over. I kicked the bucket. I saved all the screws that came out of there that were holding things in place. And there's quite the collection. I don't plan on reusing them, but I don't like to throw out anything until the job is done. There's drywall screws. I was holding some of that particle board up there. And there's hex head. I think those were holding the frame. Yeah, so let me put these out of the way so I don't kick them over again. Some of the siding was held on with, well, most of it was held on with staples. I'll probably use a screw. I mean, if I was doing a whole house, that'd be expensive, but just rehanging the siding I have here, using the box of screws I have, will work out just fine. Thing with hanging siding is they call it hanging siding. That's the key there. You don't want to install it where you tighten it down to the wall. That's why, here, let me show you. They have these notches here. And what you do is you put your nail, traditionally it's nails, and you would stop short of tightening it. So maybe leave, ideally, probably a 1/16 to an 1/8 inch when you drive your nail in it. So your siding is basically hanging off the nail. Like if this was said nail, run that through there. And that allows for expansion and contraction. The siding can actually move back and forth in that slot area. If you've ever seen a house where the siding looked like a lasagna noodle, it's probably because it was improperly installed. They tightened down all the nails when they installed it. So the siding could not flex, it just bound up. And when I took these off, this is probably oh, there we go. I numbered them. This one has number 8 on it. So I started, not counting the header piece, I started working my way down. 1, 2, 3, I would mark them with numbers to make it a little easier to put the same siding back up there. I say I bought some siding, but it was the same profile, but the dimensions were just a little bit different. So that's $30 down the drain if I don't, no, closer to 40, I think. I was happy to pay the 40 bucks for 2 pieces of siding, but now that I can't use it, I'm not so happy about that. Let me take another swig of my energy drink. Bit breezy right now. Oh, speak of the breeze. Are you okay? Oh. Yeah, we're still recording. The wind got behind that piece of particle board, blew it over, and it hit the tripod and blew it over. I didn't think it was that breezy just yet. Last year I had one tripod blow over with my phone in it, and it broke the phone receiver. Okay, so let's make sure that doesn't happen again. Knocked my, no, it actually broke the tripod. Fortunately, I can get these tripods like $5 at the auction all the time. And it's still usable even with this broken leg. It popped the, right out of they call it the shoe that holds that camera in place. So, put you back in there again. All right. Okay, didn't see that coming. Let me pivot this out of the way. I'm not going to need this probably for a couple of hours. Okay, we were getting ready to cut a stud. No, I'm not going to make any jokes, at least not about that subject. Anyway, I think we were at 75, or was it 6? 75, 76. Down to the floor. Looks like 75 3/4. 75 3/4. Okay, over to the saw station. I'm going to need my square. I had a pencil up under my hat, under my ear, but now it's gone. Well, what are you looking at? I think you're looking at the wrong thing here. That saw station down there. Got my square. Lost my pencil. I mean, I've got magic markers. I prefer to work with a pencil. That's what I'm, oh, wait, check my pocket. Here it is. I hear gunfire. This is Florida. Get used to it. One thing I'm looking forward to, there's a bird. I guess it's something like a whippoorwill. And it's seasonal. Right now you don't hear it, but I think as it warms up, it'll start making that sound after the sun goes down. That was a pleasant sound. Okay, we said 75 and 3/8. I'm gonna with 75 and 3/8 here. And then I'm going to, like they say, measure twice, cut once. So let me, 75 and 3/8. Mark it. Check it, because, okay, I definitely have it marked out at 75 and 3/8. One more time to measure the door here, because I do not want to have, you know, it's one thing if you're off by a 16th, maybe even an eighth, but when you actually read on the wrong side of the number sometime, you ever done that? And you think you're at 75 and 3/8, but you were on the wrong side of the 75 and you ended up with 74 or something because you're reading your tape. Okay, you guys don't have that problem, do you? Looks more like 75 and 3/4. See, so where did I get the 3/8 from? Oh, my tape's laying. Let me stand it up perpendicular. Yeah, it's more like 75 and 5/8. So let's make that a hair longer. That's why it's good to remeasure. And what I cut off here, I'll be able to use as the scab to hook it up to that overhead. Now this saw, I mean, it's a good saw. What happened to Chicago? They still make it? I know they used to carry it at Harbor Freight, but they just changed their name. Is that now the Bauer? I noticed there's like 3 different brands now at the Harbor Freight. I'm not a big Harbor Freight guy, but I end up there once in a while, especially when my cousin sold me a gift certificate for $20 and it was worth $50. So I was there a couple of days ago and I bought the Wiggle vibrating saw blades, and I bought a transfer punch set. I've never owned a transfer punch set. Okay. Alrighty. Look over here. Now we gotta watch this. When I pick up the tripod, the one leg definitely swings all the way in, but like I said, it still works though. Yeah, it's definitely snug. Like I said, better that I have to come back and make another cut. I'm going to need a level. Actually, I guess I'll have to sort of keep it clean if it's already up there, but what if that's out of plumb up there now? This house was built, I believe, in '95. When I say built, assembled, created, made. All right. Make sure it's small there. I know I'm going to have to cut a little bit off. Now here's a scabby here. See, I'll put that behind this. And then I'm going to attach my stud to it. This actually feels like it. That's the problem. You get this pressure coating. Pressure treated or not, because I think it's actually a little bit bigger and then it shrinks. But that's what I got. I can rip it in the table saw if I need to make it a little bit narrower. And I got my cat's paw. Meow. That's hardly even a finishing now. I don't know why I'm worrying about it, but plus my cat's paw isn't grabbing it. Probably need the claw hammer. Let me set this. I call this Busy Busy Buzz Buzz. Do you know why? Anybody, does that ring a bell? Let me know in the comments down below if you know who Busy Busy Buzz Buzz. I think it was just Busy Buzz Buzz. Not two busies. All right. The claw hammer. Now this is a good hammer. For years, I used to call them East Wing. They're not East Wing, they're S Wing. S Wing, S, not East. Okay, that bit. I grabbed it. May as well pull the rest of these out too. While I'm here, oh, they're dropping like flies. So now if this was overhauling a car, this would be not such a great overhaul. This would be more like a rat rod overhaul. I said, I got too many things in my life to do the ultimate overhaul on this place. Like I say, the ultimate, would be to have removed this entire wall of siding from one end to the other and found all the bad places and repaired all the bad places. But, I'm going to be 67 years old. I don't know how much longer, none of us knows how much longer we have in this life, but I don't want to invest too much time in something that's still going to turn to crap over the years. I need to cover that drink up. Put that on there, but it'll probably blow off. Okay, so I know we got to cut another hair off of the this stud. And there goes the top off of my drink. I say you got to beware of bees. I had one hovering around it. But it's no sugar. So why would the bee want it? Let it be. Every time I say something, it reminds me of another video I did. I think I did one called No, Not the Bees. All right, we're going to go for one saw blade width. In this case, I want it snug, but I don't want it to have to. I've seen a lot of people beat something into place. That ain't right. I once hired a guy to hang some doors in my apartment, and it was a pre-hung door, and he's hammering the door jamb into place. Like, it wasn't like tap, tap, tap. It was like bam, bam, bam. I said, you got to go, buddy. This what it needs. No. When you start operating like that, there we go. Okay, and I guess let's mark them so I keep them in the same orientation. I'm going to do the other one, and then I can start adjusting. So this will be the left top. So let's get a measurement for the right side. I'll set this drink inside before I kick it over. My energy drink. Oh, here's a tube of caulking. I will pump it in there if it works. You know, caulking, they should put expiration dates on them. I think they do. There it is. Okay, this one says used by 3 of 2024. So I missed it by 2 years. Now I don't know if that means it's kaput, but if it is, I'm going to find out because, oh, here's another one. This one's a latex. And I don't see a date on top of this one. I don't see a date on the bottom. And I say don't date the latexes. Well, let's see. This one is GE. I'll just use the whole tube of silicone to install a kitchen sink. I don't know if this is clear or this is white anyway. I used clear on the kitchen sink. I didn't want it white because it was going underneath the lip, and whatever was squeezed out I would have to wipe off, and I didn't want any trace of the caulking. All right, we'll set those down. Wind chime's been hanging in here since last year. We had it outside, and the wife was supposed to get on it and put it back outside again, but she hasn't done that. Whatever, that's up to her. It was actually a memorial wind chime in memory of her sister who passed away, I guess was it 3 years ago? Due to cancer. All right, tape measure again. What the heck the neighbor's doing? You hear that noise? I can peek through the crevices in the fence sometimes. They are so antisocial. Oh, they got the vacuum cleaner and vacuuming a pickup truck out. They built a carport. They used to have one of those tent style ones, like a long tent. And so last year he built one out of 4x4s and sheet metal, and this year he hung a little bit of sheet metal on the side, so I think it was like a privacy thing, because when I stand on my inside my home here, I can look kind of sort of down into his place, but you can't see anything through his front door. It's got a frosted glass, and there's nothing to see anyway. Okay, this one is 75 5/8 again. 75 5/8, and I see a couple little nail heads up there. Where's my S-wing? Those are they're real stubby, so I'm just going to tap them in. Alrighty. Again, I believe it's 75 5/8. Yep, 75 5/8. Over to the chop saw. Chicago chop saw. What does Chicago know about chop saws, huh? That's funny because you had Chicago tools and you had Pittsburgh tools. Was it J.C. Whitney? Maybe they sold some of that, but whatever happened to J.C. Whitney? I remember getting Harbor Freight catalogs when I was a teenager. Used to have to be all mail order back then. Okay, I see a little splitty in the one end, so that's the end I want to cut off. .75 and 5/8, right? Could you make a wind chime out of saw blades? 75 and 5/8. Get my square out. Back in Pittsburgh, I must have about 4 full-size squares. Well, I haven't seen a full-size square around here. I don't know if I just misplaced the one and only I had, but always seeing tools for sale at the auction. Ton of tools. Okay, gonna commit, make the cut. All right, let's take this back over to the door frame. Okay, it's coming up snug, too snug. I'm willing to bet it's maybe 2 saw blades tight, so hang on. I'm to the point where, you know, if it has to be done, it has to be done. The jobs, but I used to look forward to doing this kind of work, but not as much anymore. I still like my tools and I still like being creative, but I've been trying to move into the art sector. I create steampunk lamps. Maybe other fixtures. Ooh, okay. Could have been a hair tighter, just glad it's not any more loose than that. Okay, there's a chunk of wood hanging onto the drywall that's going to interfere with my scab when I go to put that on there. So I get that little chunk of wood out of the way. But there was no harm done there in, you know. Actually, it's a perfect cut, technically. Now here's my wunderbar. I think this whole thing needs to come down. There's a recessed piece of particle board in there that was helping support the light fixture that went up there. Okay. Hope I don't fall. All right. I'm gonna have to get out my reciprocator. It's the sand. I hate the sand. There's no place is exactly paradise. So when you're here in Florida, you have to deal with the sand. Well, maybe not all parts of Florida, but at least the part I'm in. And my extension's too short because I took a one out of the equation here that is still plugged into the chop saw. So I got to plug an extension into an extension. If you have to do that, when you have to do it, make sure if they're two different thicknesses, plug the thickest one in first to the outlet. Because you'll lose less amperage that way. Okay, reciprocate for me, baby. Okay, that's out of the way. There's like one little knob of wood on the joist that was off the stud that was cut off there. So I can tap that in there and it'll hold it up in place. Put the top in first. There we go. Now you get the picture. I said though I'm going to have to I mean the absolute proper way would have been to strip more of this siding off and run these clear up to the top, but it ain't gonna happen. And we said we need was it 32 1/4 when it's all said and done. That's another reason you want these too tight, they'll start to bow out. Or bow in. Bow, 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 bow. I lost the tape measure once again. Here it is at the cutoff station. Check my door jamb again. It is 32, well, it's just shy of 32. It's 31 3/4. So we would need 32 everywhere. Trick is trying to measure on to the inside, but then the tape curls up on the inside. Yeah, because down here I've got 31 3/8. So which one is out of whack? Or they both could be. So I guess the idea that I have is to go get the level. Start at that point, because we know the top is a bit fixed in place, so I can't change the top, so it's probably the bottom that are either too far in. So if one proves to be more out of plumb than the other one, or they could both be a fraction out of plumb. You're probably having a hard time hearing me now because I'm on the other side of the house. I don't know if this is going to Bluetooth it. But I've got levels. So I won't find out if we lost contact until I watch the video myself, but I suspect it may have. So I've got 3 levels in my hand. I guess I could attach the bottoms of the studs and then know that they're where they should be, and then go back and attach the tops. It's not easy to blame somebody here for being out of plumb. So we said we need a full 32. Tape measure. I think, oh, it might be just that they are, this one might be twisted a bit. So you take the twist out. It's still at 31 and a half. I'm going to have to knock it over. Keep a couple of knockers on hand here. Keeping them flush with the floor and the front of the house. Because when I mount the wood on the front, it'll be the same thickness as the wood that's already there. Let me get the square and see how square it is to the front floor joist. What I'm probably going to end up doing is picking that whole entire door up and bringing it over to test fit it. And that's not a lot of fun to do. Okay. Booyah. Okay. Still under 32. It looks like 32 3/4. That would be tight. So we're trying. Let me measure the door again. Let me pick up these scraps of wood. Haven't stepped on any nails and don't want to. I would love to burn up all this scrap wood, but we got a burn ban here in effect. Yeah, 31 3/4. 31 3/4 is the, but is it best to go with 30, a full 32? Just in case it's needed. If, what do my tops look like? The top's not at 32 yet. I'm going to try and maintain 32 inches up and down. Well, that's flush with the original joist. This one looks like it's not flush with the original joist. Now it is. When installing a door, not only do you have to worry about a square, perfectly square hole, you also got to keep in mind whether or not the whole thing's leaning in or leaning out as a whole. Let me try a different level here. Oh, stabbed in the back. I don't know what's up with this bubble in this level, if it's longer than the dash marks. I think that means something leaked out. So basically this is a straight edge more than it is a level. This one ain't so pretty, but its bubbles seem to be lining up perfectly with the sight glasses. Oh, this one can go in, or yeah. Something's got to give. You're here to help? Over there.
Can that be?
Yeah, you're in the line of fire.
Okay.
You didn't say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
So now it's a matter of fine tuning. We want 32 top and bottom. So, which one needs to go in? I think this one, according to the level. Okay, it says level. What's my measurement? We're looking for 32. And that is like 31 7/8. I mean, I could work with that if it's true, both top and bottom. I said I'm probably going to have to walk that door over here. Yeah, I think we're basically the same dimension right now, top and bottom. Now, if I'm going to walk a door over here, I have to fill this gap in here so I don't fall and get hurt. Which means I got to go get the other sawhorse and put up my scaffolding. Well, it's pretty sunny now. I don't. The dark clouds seem to have gone away. But when you check the forecast, you can still see it. It says potentially rain. Scaffolding. It'll be very livable when I'm done with this job. Nobody's going to find any fault with the way the door operates or hangs. Okay. I'm carrying said door, putting it in that place there. Let's see about bringing the door up. Dora. It's not ridiculously heavy. It's not like a regular house door. Now, even though, get this out of the way. Don't walk away too far away from it, it could blow over. Yep. All right, well, I think we are fully in the ballpark. Oh, I gotta clear some of that debris up above. Not much. Let's see, I need busy buzz. Busy buzz. Not sure what's going on. Doesn't seem to be landing flush. Oh, okay. All right, well, I don't have to land flush yet because it's going to be bumped out. It's being pushed out about 3/8. Oh, there's a staple there. Well, let's at least remove the staple. Don't have anything to. I think I nailed some crap. Don't have anything to pry against because when I do, it pushes these in, and we're not trying to do that. Oh man. Let's try again. Let's go. All right, upwards instead of downwards. Knock this joist a little back. There we go. Now it's flush again. I think we got this door at a yard sale. Second-hand Dan strikes again, huh? Okay, if I can maintain those dimensions, the door should fit just fine. I said there's going to be a board that goes over here, and it'll be underneath this edge of this door. I'm trying to open it and just get a better sneak preview. Okay. All right, well, I'm liking it thus far. So let me double check my measurements and go ahead and start locking those studs in place. Maybe I can just get down on the ground and grab this door from off the scaffolding. Excuse me. Alrighty. If I lean it, make sure I put enough lean on it that it's not going to blow back over. Okay, well, I'm going to do some fine tuning and I'll get back to you in a little bit. Well, it looks like I actually lost track of time here, so an hour video is long enough, if not possibly too long. So, hey, thanks for hanging out with me. Give a like, subscribe, thumbs up, nice comment. I'd appreciate it. This is Secondhand Dan saying, see you in the next one. Hey, hi everybody. Secondhand Dan coming to you from Got a Hole in the Wall in Homosassa land. This is part 3, so of replacing a rotted out joist and door jamb and faulty door on my single wide home in Homosassa, Florida. So February 28th, it's about 75 degrees, partly cloudy, mild breeze. The weather's perfect for this. They did say rain, but it hasn't rained today, so we're good to go. So take a look what I'm doing here. This is part 3, so if you haven't seen part 1 or 2, you need to go there first. Anyway, here's where we're at now. I have put up a pair of studs. They're 6x2s on either side. They're not drilled in or anchored or nailed in yet. They seem to be perpendicular. I test fit the door, so I am going to cut some what do you call it, scabs. They will go at the top. Here's an example. This isn't the one I'm using, but I've got this will go behind the upper section of these to attach it to the overhead to anchor it. And once that's in place, I'll check my plumb and anchor the bottoms in place. Right now they seem to be sitting pretty where they're at, so I need to commit and anchor something down. So I'm going to cut this one in half and see how far I can get it up in there and run some I've been using Tapcons. Now Tapcons are usually you think Tapcons, if you're at all a mechanic or in the remodeling building field, you know that Tapcons are considered to be a concrete screw. But when you get a nice big handful of them, probably in a auction box or something like that, you find out that they can work well in wood too. So this is a Tapcon. Well, there's 2 Tapcons, and they're driven in with a hex head. So I'll be using those to come in from the back side of my scabs, because I like them because the length's pretty good. So, and then when I get to the stud side of these, I'll probably come in from the stud side and go this way to anchor them. So let's go cut this in half, which will make it longer than my little demo piece. I really should wear my tape measure on my belt. Then I wouldn't be looking for it constantly. There it is on the steps. Oh, it's a Pittsburgh. I know in my last video I was kind of making light of the fact that my chop saw's Chicago. Well, my tape measure is a Pittsburgh. Is there any more cities that have tools named after them? All right. Well, this board is basically 21-ish, 20 3/4, so which means 9 3/4. Oh no, it means 10 3/8 would be about the halfway point. So I'm not even going to mark it with a pencil. Nope, unplugged. I only have one outlet on the side of the house that I'm working with, so it hasn't been a major inconvenience, but it does catch me off guard occasionally. We're looking at getting somebody to come in and do a little bit of work. I mean, I don't have to do it all. I take things so far, and then the devil's in the details. Like when it starts to be about trim and stuff like that, I start to lose interest. But we might have somebody. I installed a kitchen countertop and sink base, and we might have somebody else come in and do a backsplash. And we did the front door project similar to this. It needs trim on the inside. Might have them do the trim too. And they can have the trim on this one if they want. We'll see. And darn if this saw doesn't, check this out. When it's full thrust all the way down, still hanging on by a thread. All right. These are going to go behind each of these uprights. We know they're as wide as the upright that I put in already. Bump this insulation back. There seems to be nothing really in the way. I do feel what maybe a nail point? Or is that glue? I don't know. I do want to keep it flush though, so I have no means to, there we go. That looks pretty darn good that way. I'm going to go ahead and clamp it in place. I'll go ahead and put some bottom screws in it first. I was thinking about screwing it from the inside, but no, I think I can run them all from the backside. So let me clamp it. Do like my friend Jed. You know, Jed, I said, hey Jed, clamp it. Dad jokes, okay. I think the insulation's jumping in the way again. Oh, when I throw my clamp on the floor, I'll have to lean over at the inconvenient time and try and pick it up. So, sometimes you need 3 hands. All right. Watch, I don't step into this here. Okay. Now I can't use a Tapcon in the lower section because it'll poke through. But I do have some shorter screws. Some Torx head. 2¼ 2½ would be even better, but I don't want to split hairs and hold up the job looking for, I mean, if I thought I had them out in my shed, that'd be one thing, but I really still think I should have longer ones. The job might be held up here because you figure that's a total of 3 inches. The 2x4 is like 1½ inches thick. Oop, drew those in the wrong pail. What's this box say? 2 inch. All right, well, hold on while I go check the workshop and see if I have the longer screws. Well, I have 2¼ inch screws, and everything I have after that is too long. So I'm going to run down to the hardware store and invest in a box of 2½. I don't think they make 2¾ so I think it's this is what I have. It's a good screw. I think that came from the Ace. Those are number 10 by 2¼ I don't feel confident with these because it will barely, I think, pull into a 1/4 inch into the board behind it. So I'm going to get the 2 inch, I mean the 2½ inch. Everything else I have around here is 2 inch or 3½ inch. The Tapcons are too long. They're not too long to go up above because when they poke through it won't matter, but I can't have it poke through to the inside of my jamb. I mean, I guess if I knew I was covering it up with a finish board, you know, a panel or some piece of some, but in case I don't, in case we just paint it white, you know, I could have cut off the screws, but I think there was a like a veneer on top of these before. So yeah, these Tapcons next to the my other screw, they're at least an inch longer. So here's a, they're 3½ Tapcons are. A 3 inch screw would have worked, but that would be overkill. So 2½ will be fine. 2 3/4, I don't think they make 2 3/4. I could be wrong. I just don't remember ever looking for said screw. Gotta check the forecast here because I don't want to turn my back and leave all this stuff and all of a sudden have a thunderstorm pop up. I'll probably still put a lot of it under shelter just to make sure that it doesn't get caught in any rain. Because even if the forecast says, you know, 10% you're gambling, so unless it said, you know, all zeros for the next before hours and later hours, I can't necessarily believe it. So hang on and all right, thanks for watching. I'm signing off. I meant to start another video, but it looks like I added another 15 minutes to this one. So with editing, but I'm not a good editor. I could have just cut it. So sorry. Bye.